In this episode, I wanted to talk about the first step to increasing our emotional intelligence. You might be here vaguely familiar with what EQ is, kind of curious about what it might be, or maybe even just a bit skeptical around what that is, or how to improve it, or whether or not you even can improve it. And I understand that. You know, I think for a long time I've had the same thoughts and beliefs because what the hell are emotions anyway? You know, and isn't that something that's natural to us as human beings? Like, can we really control our emotions? Can we really, artificially invoke joy, or to completely just switch off our anxiety or depression or sadness or anger? And the answer is no. And I'm sure you know that already. But the point of emotional intelligence, and why I'm so grateful to have been able to spend the time and energy to learn about this, both for myself and to also share with you guys, is because it's something that's very intuitive within us, but not a lot of us really have the language to know what to do about it. Which is why, as I talk to my friends and family and people around me about EQ, the more I realize it is something that sounds like common sense once you hear it, but common sense is not common knowledge, right? And again, not having the language to really be able to articulate it, or to be able to wrap our minds around it in a way that's tangible, it was something that was lacking within our education and within our upbringing in recent years. But to focus on this video, the first step to increasing our EQ now is to have that language to really express what you're feeling. And that's one of the hardest parts, because it does require a lot of introspection and reflection, and really identifying how it is you truly feel, and whether or not that's valid, and what that means for you and your identity. It's something that not a lot of us are comfortable really diving into, because out of fear, out of embarrassment, out of all these other emotions that are attached with it, right? If I were to really, for example, sit with my loneliness that I've felt a few years ago, and still kind of honestly struggle with a little bit, it's something that, me personally, I get a lot of resistance already. I'm part even resistant and hesitant to share this right now. I might even edit this out, but but again, I think that's something that for some reason has now almost become instinct, or so natural for me to just avoid, or to push off, or to not admit, around myself, that I've had these feelings, because it's so negative, because it's not me. I'm supposed to be this happy-go-lucky guy who, doesn't wallow, or doesn't, sit with these negative emotions, or ever feel these things. And what also happened because of that was a lot of suppression and repression of how I really felt, and being okay with that. I just felt this general, feeling of loneliness, or being alone, and never really identified with. And because of that, I had no way to know how to move forward from that. It wasn't this sense of being alone that I was really afraid of that held me back. It was my fear of rejection. It was me being afraid of people not liking who I was that excluded me from people. It was what held me back from diving deeper with people, or to really expose myself, because that leaves me way more vulnerable to and susceptible to being rejected, to, you know, potentially being wounded. It's really interesting now realizing that, because rather than trying to find a girlfriend or a partner in order to not feel lonely, what I really need to improve upon myself, or really address, is this feeling of, you know, thinking that I will be rejected by everyone and anyone around me. Instead of seeking out this, you know, this person to fulfill that, I think in order to really get past this general feeling of loneliness, it's to also get past my conception of what rejection means for me, what that will say about me. Just because I get rejected by this girl, or this job opportunity, or this, you know, or this YouTube video, all the dislikes or comments, it doesn't mean anything about me personally. You know, it's something, it might have been my message, it might have been how I said it, but it's not anything against me. And what you can do for yourself right now is really diving into a specific emotion, or finding another word that can better describe whatever you're feeling. And a really good tool to do that is the negative emotion typology. It's at emotiontypology.com, and it's something actually one of my friends had found a while back after doing a Google search of like, how do I improve my anger, or how to get rid of my anger, or something like that, because he kept feeling a certain way and didn't know how to really address it. So this is a really good tool, because it groups together all of these emotions into certain categories, and then you can use that to dive into a more granular emotion that you might be feeling. And within each of them, it has a typical scenario for when you might be feeling this emotion, and that way you can better find the language to really communicate what exactly you're feeling in that moment. This is something that I'm going to be continually working on myself, as well as I start learning new words and different descriptions and meanings and scenarios for when to use them. But like any language, it's going to take that continual practice to get better at. Our emotions and our stories are going to be very different than someone else's. And so in this video where I talked about my own loneliness, it's going to be different than someone else's. It's not going to be better or worse. It's not going to be, you know, we're not competing to be the most lonely, or to really like prove how lonely we are, right? Like everybody has their own feelings around it. So make sure to go into your own level of introspection and understanding what level of granular detail you need to go into to better describe it yourself. I hope this helps wherever you are. I really appreciate you watching all the way through. Thank you so much for wanting to improve your own emotional intelligence, and I really appreciate you being here. If you want to learn more, or if you want to talk to me personally, or if you're interested in my own coaching services to really accelerate this growth and to really like have some support and dedication to increasing your own self-awareness and emotional management, you can visit me at victorung.com. Right now I'm offering 2 free sessions, 2 actual coaching sessions to both get my own practice in as a new coach, but also to have you experience what a coaching experience can be and what it would be like to have someone dedicated towards improving your own personal growth as well. So again, you can find me at victorung.com for more, or continue watching other videos wherever it shows up, and watch for the other tools and exercises and examples that I have around increasing our EQ. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.